Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, friends. Good news, it's time to head down that dark hallway that leads to the Twilight Zone, specifically Season 1, Episode 8, Time Enough at Last. I can't wait any longer, friends, so wait no longer we shall. If you could do me a quick favor and hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and it allows me to alert you next time it's time for a little Twilight Zone. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time once again to see where Rod's gonna take us as we watch The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 8, Time Enough at Last. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction. And away we go. What do you got for us, Rod? How are you going to make me feel bad about myself? By the way, as Rod's telling us this, several of you have said to watch The Outer Limits, the original Outer Limits. I will be doing that, my friends. Promise, promise. It is on the list, so I can't wait to do that. But let's see what the Twilight Zone has for us in Time Enough at Last. Hey, Burgess.
You ever read David Copperfield?
How's that?
It's a wonderful book. This poor little fellow, his father has passed away.
Mr. Beamish, you've shortchanged me again. You owe me $1 more. See? There's only 24 here, and there should be 25.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Chester. I thought...
That's interesting. I wonder if he was supposed to flub that line about responding to her, Mrs. Chester. And they kept it in there. That's interesting. So it makes me think that it was part of it, but I'm not sure if it was.
I wonder if I might see you in my office, Mr. Bemis.
Why, certainly, Mr. Carswell. I don't suppose you've ever read David Copperfield, have you?
I think you're going to get fired, buddy.
Witness Mr. Henry Bemis,
Henry.
a charter member in the Fraternity of Dreamers.
Ha!
But in just a moment, Mr. Bemis will enter a world without bank presidents, or wives, or clocks, or anything else. He'll have a world all to himself, without anyone.
I'm assuming because he's going to be fired and no longer have this occupation.
I shall come to the point of this interview.
Interview.
You, Mr. Bemis, do not function within the organization. You are neither an efficient bank teller nor a proficient employee. You, Mr. Bemis, are a reader.
A reader?
A reader.
Yes.
A reader of books. You will henceforth devote your time to your job and forget reading, or you'll find yourself outdoors on a park bench reading from morning till night for want of having a job.
It's just that my wife won't let me read at home. Well, I got so desperate that I found myself trying to read the labels on the condiment bottles on the table. Now she won't even let me use the ketchup.
I remember last November you spent the better part of the days reading campaign buttons on customers' lapels. You will recall, Bemis, the young lady who took considerable exception to this and tried to hit you with her umbrella.
Yes.
I'm not sure Henry's getting this. He still seems to be advocating for his ability to continue to read. Henry! Oh, boy.
I think we've been over this quite enough, Henry. I won't tolerate a husband of mine sacrificing the art of conversation.
Boy, you'd hate now.
No, dear, it was just that you said a husband of mine. Well, how many husbands have you got? You've only got me.
I would appreciate that not being rubbed in.
Damn.
What time will we do that?
In about 15 minutes.
All right, I'll be ready on time.
See that you are.
Dude, don't start reading anything. Dear God. I mean, I understand. If the dude's reading all the time, Helen has every right to be like, you got to limit this stuff a little bit. Uh-oh.
Henry?
Yes, my dear?
What's in your pocket?
A book of modern poetry. Yours, Henry? Would you like to read me some?
And there are one or two things from T.S. Eliot and Edmondson, Vincent Millay, Robert Frost, Carl Sandburg.
Damn, woman. That is stone cold.
A grown man who reads silly, ridiculous, nonsensical doggerel.
This isn't doggerel. There's some very beautiful things here.
I say it's doggerel. I also say it's a waste of time.
Well, it's a waste of your time. Look how long did it take you to do that?
Why, Helen? Why do you do these things?
Because I'm married to a fool.
Okay. He's a dreamer. We knew that from the very first line. But I mean, that's psychotic. To go through each and like crosshatch the entire page several weeks later. I mean, I get it. I completely understand why people were pissed at him. I would be pissed at him. You might want to think about working through lunch there, Henry. I don't think you've got much leeway. They're not going to give you a whole bunch of leash here. This is super dangerous. Boy. Some light reading. What the hell? Holy. Put your glasses up, dude. I wonder if he's hurt. Oh, that's awesome. We can... Holy shit. Did the bank blow up? Was this a nuclear attack? This show's crazy. They literally just showed that on the newspaper. H-bomb. See if the rest of the town's like this. There's no emergency response. There's no... Oh my God. I hate to say this. Are there bodies? I'm actually curious if in 59 they would put bodies out.
Just the qualities I've mentioned already. Miss Jackson, that's my speech for the Thursday night banquet. Could you type that up in triplicate?
Wow. Henry, I hate to say this, bud, but you're going to have to assess the damage here if you can make it outside. Or look out a window. It looks like it's night. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Seconds, minutes, hours. They crawl by on hands and knees for Mr. Henry Bemis.
Great line.
The mailbox of what was once his house and is now a rubble. They lie at his feet as battered monuments to what was but is no more.
Helen!
Henry, she's gone, buddy, if she was at the house. Anywhere, if she was anywhere.
Mr. Henry Bemis on an 8-hour tour of a graveyard.
Oh my God.
They're all dead.
Yeah, dude.
They must be. Everybody's dead except me. Why am I all right? I was right there in the middle of
The vault.
the vault.
Yep.
Maybe it is.
Henry.
I'm not at all sure that I want to be alive.
Oh boy. Is this poor Henry's descent into madness?
Food enough to last for years and years and years.
Yeah, but wouldn't there be fallout? I mean...
All the food. And more too.
I don't know, buddy. I might think about getting back in the vault.
The worst part, the very worst part is being alone.
Yeah, he seems to like other people.
Reading the same half of a newspaper. Over and over.
Yeah, but was the whole world destroyed? I mean, that's the thing that I guess we're not going to get an answer for. There's got to be other survivors, people that might have been in a basement or... I'm trying to think. There has to be more survivors. There has to be. I mean, maybe not necessarily where he is, but somewhere, right? Somebody? Nope. I was just gonna praise it for turning on, but turning over, but
Please, someone! Is someone there? Someone!
dressing this set would have sucked, just straight up.
I've never had much solitude. I have enough to...
Henry, you read, buddy. You should know what you need to do here.
Fortune. Help. 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 Someone, please. Someone, please.
Oh, man. Sporting goods. We're running out of time here. Don't worry about making a mess, man. Oh, no, buddy.
If there were just something to do.
Burgess Meredith is doing such a great job.
I'm sure I'll be forgiven for this. The way things are.
Oh, no, dude.
Forgiven.
Oh, God. All the books are going to be... Look at this set. Dear God.
Great dramas of the world. Books. Books. All the books I'll need. All the books I'll ever want.
I mean, sure.
January, February, March, April.
Oh, you got it all figured out, bud.
And the year after. And the year after that.
Okay. Bud, they could drop another bomb at any second.
There's all the time I need and all the time I want. Time.
All right, so Henry's losing it, yeah.
Time enough at last.
There it is. Did his glasses break? No, they just popped. What do they have, like secondary lenses on them? Oh, shit, they broke.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Oh, my God.
The small man in the glasses who wanted nothing but time. Henry Bemis, now just a part of a smashed landscape. Mr. Henry Bemis in the Twilight Zone.
Wow. All right, everyone, we just finished watching The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 8, Time Enough at Last. And the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everybody, we just finished watching The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 8, Time Enough at Last. I mean, another great premise for an episode, you know, somebody that desperately wants to do something, you know, in this instance, read, not given the time afforded to it, and by the very title of the episode, Time Enough at Last, to do one's passion, which is to read the great works of literature. And there's not really much that you can say about that other than, you know, it's plenty of people have the similar or the same or similar types of goals, you know. Nowadays, it's unfortunately, instead of the great works of literature, you know, just go onto any public transportation, go into any public space, and you'll see everybody doom scrolling, which really is very similar to the kind of mindset that Henry had back in '59. And I think that's what I took from the most from this episode, and I think it was a detriment to the character of Henry because I did that. I'm sitting there thinking the entire time, like, you know, this guy is completely disassociating from everything else, and, you know, the idea of conversation, even what Helen was saying, you know, he was an incredibly unsavory character, but at the same time, she made a couple good points, like, you know, you're basically again, you're diving into these books, you're missing everything that's going on around you, you're not engaging in conversation. His boss said the same thing to him. For a second too, I was hung up on the idea that, boy, I really wouldn't want to work with Henry. I would not want to be on the same shift at the bank as Henry, because inevitably his kind of distraction is going to fall onto you to kind of pick up the slack. And again, that made me think of like, everybody will do this. It makes you think of like that coworker you had back in the day that did just that. And you can't get away from like kind of like the negative connotations of that. And unfortunately, and this harkens back to my first point, because we live in a society today in 2025 where, so many people are doing just what Henry's doing, where they're in society, but they're in their own headspace. They're in their own world, basically. And, they want to share what they've said and things like that, and the only time they kind of like lift their head up from their own personal environment is to basically say, oh, hey, look what I found, or look what I've done, or, look where I've been in the internet, or what post I've made, or something like that. And it's always very singular and very kind of like, not selfish, but very, very like central personal, And because of that, and I think, my dislike of that type of situation, I think that was a kind of a negative reaction that I had that Henry didn't deserve, but I gave it to him anyway. He was such a mirror to me for our current society. And I think that, for me, it's because of that association that this tale held up so well. I think that you can immediately, instead of being like, reading books all the time, hey, just substitute a smartphone, put an iPad in his hands instead of a newspaper. That's us nowadays. And there's way more Henrys in the world today than there were back then. You know what I mean? And so is that fair to do? Not at all. But I think it's timely, and it makes the Twilight Zone, have a longevity that I'm not sure it would have had we not had similar societal problems today. Now, was the setup pretty good? Absolutely. It was a very kind of unsettling, obviously, situation, but at the same time, it did bring up a lot of questions in me that I asked during the reaction that we don't get an answer to, that I would have liked to have had an answer to, like what happened? Not everyone could be dead, even if his town was completely wiped out. There's somebody somewhere is still alive. You would think that somebody would come looking, and again, now in the show's defense, there really was only a day that had elapsed. He only slept one night. So it happened, he slept, he woke up, and then, the ending of the episode. So, there could still be people on the way, or help's a coming, maybe, who knows? And so that the idea that they didn't answer that could mean they just didn't answer it yet, because it wouldn't have been answered in a mere 24 hours or something. But, it brings up questions, and you're like, okay, well, if this was an H-bomb, wouldn't there be like fallout? Wouldn't there be like radiation? Wouldn't there be some other like, terrible association that could have like him being outside? Is the war still going on if this was in fact a war type of bombardment? So being outside and outside of the vault could easily get you killed, you know what I mean? Because another bomb could drop and that would be the end of you. They came back around for you, they sent another, hey, Henry's still alive, drop another one, that type of stuff. So it's an interesting mirror to our current society, and I think because of that, like I said, my sympathy wasn't as high as it should have been with Henry. And it was, again, a tragic turn of events at the end there, but also, again, kind of left some questions that we didn't have. Let me put it to you like this. Henry, as a sympathetic character for me, fell below where our narrator, the airman from the very first episode, Where Is Everybody? Very similar set of circumstances, alone in the world. But for me, and I'm not sure how you all feel, please let me know, I felt more of a sympathy towards him than I did towards Henry. And now that might be because Henry eventually came around and was like, I have all the time I need, time enough at last, And it was the opposite for our airman in the first episode. The longer he was alone, the worse he felt, the worse he got, the more manic he became. And so, it might just be just a gradual type of thing where, because Henry at the end didn't feel sorry for himself before he broke his glasses, we as the audience shouldn't feel sorry for him either. And so there's a lack of empathy and sympathy that's kind of generated for us. Whereas with the first episode, our empathy and sympathy is increased the more that we see him in distress. And I think too, that was one of the things. I think that, this is one of the ones where I am a kind of a coin flip. Like, would I have liked more information, or would the show have been the episode been the lesser with more information? And I'm not real sure about that. What do you all think? I think it was another fantastic episode of The Twilight Zone. I'm just not real sure. Again, my sympathies for the narrator and the protagonist, I think that's where I got lost a little bit in this one, as opposed to some of the earlier ones. It's just I didn't know how to feel at the end, other than, damn, that's a tough turn of events. But you usually should have stronger feelings when you're standing in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, right? Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel, and it allows me to alert you next time it's time for a little Twilight Zone. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. Oh, but my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time to say goodbye. And normally when we say goodbye from one of our series, we say goodbye from inside the episode, from someplace inside the episode that we've just watched, kind of a reward to go back and visit it as part of the narrative process. We get this little boon at the end. But with the Twilight Zone, what we do is we like to say goodbye as a result of the episode we just watched. And I'm kind of shifting the rules a little bit because we are saying goodbye from within the episode. But my dear friends, it's 12:05, and oh, there goes Henry. He's probably off with his bag lunch. I bet he's going down to the vault to read again. But you know where we're going? We're going outside in the park, my friends, because the sun is out, and it's a beautiful day, and there aren't that many of them. We just didn't know that this would be the last one. Friends, until such time as we get to go back into the Twilight Zone, Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.